Om Shri Sai Ram. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yadkripādamaham vande Paramananda Madhavam Paramananda Madhavam. Placing my humble, loving and reverential salutations at the divine lotus feet of my Almighty, my Savior, my Guru and my eternal friend Bhagwan Shri Sathya Sai Baba, whose grace could make even the dumb speak with eloquence and the lame man climb even the highest mountain. I, Priya Ramani from Chennai, would like to extend my warm greetings to all the dignitaries today. Respected All India President of Shri Sathya Sai Seva Organizations India, National and State Office Bearers, and a loving Sairam to all my dear brothers and sisters. Today, we all have gathered for an auspicious occasion for the inaugural ceremony of Shri Sathya Sai National Leadership Program for Self-Transformation for the batch 2021. We are very happy to have our guest of honor for today's proceedings, Shri V. Srinivas, IAS, Additional Secretary to Government of India, PG and Pensions, and he is also the Director General of National Center for Good Governance, who would be giving his inaugural speech today. I take this opportunity to introduce new academic board members, Professor Dr. Mukundan, who is the member of the National Council of Shri Sathya Sai Seva Organizations, and Dr. K. Prasanna Sai, who has joined our academic board. A task that is well begun is half done, and we are all here not by an accident but for a profound incident. With further no delay, let us ignite our session with Jyoti Prajwalanam, lighting the lamp of love, and pray our beloved Bhagwan to dispel all the darkness from all our hearts and bless the proceedings.
दीपं ज्योति परब्रह्मा दीपं ज्योति जनार्दनः दीपो हरतु मे पापं सन्ध्यादीपं नमोऽस्तु ते नमोऽस्तु ते।
Vedic recitations purifies the atmosphere and it also cleanses our mind. Today, we have with us the aspirants from the first batch of Shri Sathya Sai National Leadership Program who would be offering their Vedam chanting at Swami's lotus feet and invoke the divinity within us. you team for reverberating the environment with such powerful Vedic Bijaksharas. Now it's time to introduce a member who is to deliver the welcome address, Dr. K. Prasanna Sai. Dr. K. Prasanna Sai is a member of the academic board and he is also the faculty of Sri Sathya Sai National Leadership Program. He is from the first batch of the integrated curriculum of Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning, Prashanthi Nilayam campus from the batch of 80 to 87. On the professional side, he did his ICWA and later went on to research in the field of human resources development. He has held various CXO positions in the Indian and global corporations for nearly 3 decades. Standing out as an exemplary example to the Balvikas alumni, he was recognized in the Golden Jubilee celebrations of Sri Sathya Sai Balvikas Alumni Meet at Prashanthi Nilayam. With folded hands and with great reverence, I take immense pleasure in inviting Dr. K. Prasanna Sai to deliver his welcome address. Over to you, sir.
Om Shri Sai Ram. Pranams at the lotus feet of Mother Sai. Respected elders and dear brothers and sisters of Sai family. As we step into launching second batch of Sri Sathya Sai National Leadership Program for Self-Transformation, which nurtures the young adults like you all to imbibe the importance of individual character building for nation building, I am reminded of Bhagwan's direction given in the year 1996 when he stated, I quote, "Students must take charge in molding the world today for they are future citizens. Students must conduct themselves properly and steer the country in right direction," unquote. We now pray to Bhagwan to bless us with his divine presence and continue to guide us in this journey. We welcome all participants in the journey of becoming a leader who understands the spirit of service and sacrifice. It's my pleasure to welcome Chief Guest and a guest of honor, Shri V. Srinivas, Indian Administrative Service, Additional Secretary and Director General at National Center for Good Governance, Government of India. I wholeheartedly welcome All India President of Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Seva Organization, academic board members, state presidents, office bearers of Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Seva Organization, faculty members from Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Seva Organization, Sri Sathya Sai Central Trust institutions such as Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning, Sri Sathya Sai Official, Sri Sathya Sai Center for Human Values, and participants and viewers across the globe. Om Shri Sai Ram.
Om Shri Sai Ram. Offering my loving pranams at the divine lotus feet of Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. Myself, Nishikant Patil, an alumnus of 2019 batch Sri Sathya Sai International Leadership Program for Self-Transformation. I am currently serving as a youth coordinator for Pune Zone, Maharashtra State. We have now one of our earlier batch participants, Brother Venkatesh Patil, who is joining us from Karnataka to share his experiences and learning at Sri Sathya Sai National Leadership Program for Self-Transformation. Brother Venkatesh Patil completed his BE in Electronics and Communication from VTU Bangalore. He worked in Canada as project team leader for 2 years and currently working as assistant project manager in information technology in KPMG. Through his family, he has been devotee of Bhagwan since his childhood. He was serving as state level youth think tank member in Sri Sathya Sai Seva Organization, Karnataka until August 2020 when he was appointed as State Youth Coordinator for Sri Sathya Sai Seva Organization, Karnataka South, and is currently serving Bhagwan in that role. That's all about Brother Venkatesh. Over to you, Brother Sai Ram.
Om Shri Sai Ram. Offering my loving pranams at the divine lotus feet of our most beloved Bhagavan Shri Sathya Sai Baba. Sai Rams to one and all. Dear brothers and sisters, I feel extremely fortunate to have been chosen by Bhagavan to be part of the first batch of the Sri Sathya Sai National Leadership Program for Self-Transformation 2020. I had a long cherished dream of being a Sai student, which was never fulfilled. And I used to fight with Bhagavan in my own way, asking him, Swami, why didn't you make me your student? Why didn't I get an opportunity to be your student? But Swami, in his benevolent love and grace, through this course, gave me a chance to realize and to be a Sai student. That is when, during the 3-day induction program, that it's not only me, but majority of us felt that we have now become Sai student. And that I'm going to cherish all my life. Coming to the course itself, the course is structured in such a way that any individual coming from any background, be it a professional, be it a doctor, be it an engineer, be it from a business background or even from a creative field, is going to realize that this particular course is catering to each one of them individually. This is because there are such wide range of topics that have been chosen and that have been tailored to make sure that a person coming from any background, is going to get benefit out of this course. To take an example, I, in my own profession, deal with a lot of people because I work as a project manager, and in my own personal life and in our organization, I happen to deal with a lot of people inadvertently. This course has helped me in such a way that initially I used to feel a lot of challenge and a lot of difficulty in dealing with different types of people. Through this course, we had a topic called personalities and how to deal with different types of personalities. It has helped me in such a way that I now realize that if there is certain individual with a different type of background or different type of personality, how can I deal with him in such a way that there is no friction, in such a way that our goal is being reached in a very smooth way. Secondly and lastly, but not the least, the biggest takeaway for me from this course has been the topic of Bharatiya culture and spirituality. As I went through that course, as I went through that topic, it filled my heart with a lot of pride that I have been born on this land, on this Punya Bhumi called Bharata. And it made me realize that having a good career, having a good life, having good materialistic pursuits is not enough to be born as a human being. It is something more beyond, something beyond that we need to aspire for, something beyond that we need to reach for, something beyond that we need to always aim for. That is what I've realized, and my perspective and my vision has broadened through this course. Through the Bharatiya Culture and Spirituality course, I realized that what is my role as a Bharatiya? What can I do being born in this Punya Bhumi and living in this Punya Bhumi as a Bharatiya? Brothers and sisters, to sum it up, this course is a journey within. This course is something which is going to be a light or a lighthouse for you throughout your journey of 9 months, and this is all about an individual level of transformation that we all are going to go through, and each one of us are going to have our own journey, our own unique journey in this 9-month course and come out with flying colors. With this, I would like to say, wish you all the very best and have a wonderful journey within. Jai Sai Ram.
Om Shri Sai Ram. I am Dr. Surabhi Avasthi, a participant of Shri Sathya Sai National Leadership Program for Self-Transformation Batch 2020 from the state of Madhya Pradesh. The program per se triggered changes in our lives and made ourselves into better individuals. So one such person from our group would like to share her thoughts and experiences, and I have the great privilege of presenting Sister Bhairi Meenakshi from the state of Jharkhand. She has completed her post-graduation in commerce and is presently pursuing chartered accountancy. She is also an alumna of Shri Sathya Sai Bal Vikas and is an active young adult of Shri Sathya Sai Seva Organization Jharkhand. Presenting to you Bhairi Meenakshi.
Om Shri Sai Ram. My humble pranams at the lotus feet of our beloved Bhagwan, and loving Sai Ram to all of you. With the divine grace, I was one of the 200 odd candidates that were chosen as the very first batch of Sri Sathya Sai National Leadership Program for Self-Transformation. The year 2020 brought the pandemic and the resulting chaos around the globe. But for me, a journey of self-transformation had triggered. A lifelong journey of continuous cycle of improvement and introspection. Right from the induction program to the convocation ceremony, the journey was full of learnings. From setting the right goals and the smartest possible ways to achieve them, and learning to put across your point straightly but obligingly across the audience during the sessions on communication. I learned how to deal with difficult and different people by understanding them and therefore resolving conflicts. These are few of the very quite essential skills that every leader must carry. The project management session was not mere an assignment for me. It was again a bundle of learnings. Learnings from teammates, from seniors, and from elders in our organization. Not to forget the very inspiring satsang sessions, wherein we had the opportunity to interact with and listen to eminent personalities who were exemplary leaders in their respective forte. They inspired me as an ideal on how to lead a life, be it personal or professional, strictly adhering to ethical conduct, despite facing all the odds. Be it the guest speakers or the faculty. Many a times it felt like, yes, this is what I was going through, and yes, this is probably the solution I was hunting for. This program had a huge impact on my life, and words are not sufficient to express it. After this program, my perspective towards Bhagwan changed. From God, who was supposed to be worshipped with flowers and agarbatti, he became my friend, my guide, my mentor, and a mother, to whom I can surrender anytime like a crybaby. Thanking Bhagwan for giving me the opportunity to be the NLP candidate. I congratulate the new batch and extend my heartiest best wishes to all of them. Jai Sai Ram.
It was wonderful listening to you, sister. That took me down the memory lane. Those wonderful classes that transformed us into a better individual. Now let us understand in more detail about the program. We have with us our academic board member, Shri Krishna Kumar sir, to help us and guide on the same. Shri Krishna Kumar, in his vast experience of more than 20 years, has worked in the area of strategy and planning with many internet giants like Microsoft and Flipkart. He is an alumnus of XLRI Jamshedpur, University of Nagpur, Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan and Shri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning. He is also a long distance runner and completed 9 half marathons at prestigious Mumbai Marathon. Currently, he is founder and CEO of Comotech. He is also a guest faculty at Mumbai Business School, Shri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning and invitee speaker at several international and national industry conferences like NASCOM, Mobile WAS Conference Hong Kong, Mobile Monday at Brazil and many more. Over to you, Shri Krishna Kumar sir.
Om Shri Sai Ram, offering my humble salutations at the lotus feet of our most beloved Bhagwan. Respected elders and dear friends, let me take you down the memory lane. Year 95-97, when I was pursuing my MBA at Prashanthi Nilayam campus. At one point, Bhagwan had stopped giving what we called a personal interview, and he had started what he said was mass interview in the form of evening discourses. And the reason being, he wanted to give every one of us an opportunity to drink into the nectar and assuage our pain and suffering. Fast forward 2018-19, little did we all realize that when we came together to work on this leadership program, that this would get launched at the very beginning of the pandemic in March 2020. Just as Bhagwan has got us together in 1996, he got us all together again in 2020 in his own misty and mysterious ways. Friends, as all of you would know, that there are 5 parts to this program. Rather, I would say there are 6 parts to this program. Part A is about individual skills. Part 2 is about team skills. Part 3 is about self-mastery. Part 4 is about values and ethics. And Part 5 is about project. But then, just as Panchatattva make up this universe, the 5 parts together make the 6th, which is the ceiling of I or the roof of I. Now the word ceiling has a very special place for me because it talks about one of the most practical teachings of Bhagwan for all grahasthas, which is ceiling on desires. And I have a proud privilege of taking this module as part of this program. Friends, the first principle of leadership is about leading oneself. And in this time of pandemic, what better opportunity than for each one of us to immerse in these modules, in these assignments, in these discourses, in this satsang, and sort of cultivate mental strength. For Swami Vivekananda says, weakness is death, strength is life. I once again welcome you all into this program, and I look forward to each one of you giving yourself totally, fully, and completely into each and every aspect of this program so that we all come out with flying colors with Bhagwan's grace. Jai Sai Ram.
Thank you, Brother Krishna Kumar, for your valuable thoughts and giving us deeper insights of the program. Thank you very much. I now invite Shri Nimesh Pandya to deliver the presidential address.
Om Shri Sai Ram. Offering my most humble salutations at the divine lotus feet of our most beloved master, Bhagwan Shri Sathya Sai Baba, I welcome him in his omnipresent form at this beautiful inauguration ceremony. The chief guest of today, Brother V. Srinivas, it is my great pleasure, and with deep sense of gratitude, I accept the fact that we are honored to have you with us today. Thank you very much for being with us. Respected state presidents, office bearers of the Sathya Sai Seva Organization India, and my dear students. I remember Bhagwan this day and recollect how he first started explaining to us about life and about living. The first sentence that hit my head was, the proper study of mankind is man himself. It was our Bhagwan who brought focus to the importance of being a human being and the great potential that every human being has in himself. He also reminded us that man is not alone. Man and society go together, and divinity is permeating every aspect of society. Bhagwan's great strategy for peace on this world is well known to all of us, and it must be remembered once again today. If there is righteousness in the heart, then there is beauty in character. If there is beauty in character, then there is harmony in the home. If there is harmony in the home, then there is order in the nation. And then, if there is order in the nation, then alone there can be peace in the world. What a beautiful strategy which is laid down by Bhagwan. And we are extremely happy that this particular course, the second batch of which we are inaugurating right now, has taken this as the foundation, because we need young men and women who would understand this divine strategy of peace, which in fact, if you study and ponder more, is the only strategy for peace. Any link or any aspect of this link, if it breaks, peace is not the order of the day. It starts with you and I, conquering ourselves and establishing a strong character. And character, what a beautiful way Bhagwan described, as that in a human being whose thought, word, and deed are always one. All my young brothers and sisters who have passed out from this course and who are now joining this new course, let us remember that the true definition of a young, smart man or woman, as given by Bhagwan, was always that where he or she would be bold enough, confident enough to unite his or her thought, word, and deed into unison. In fact, if you go to see, this is the bane of today. I remember a very senior colleague of mine in the profession, Mr. Nani Palkhiwala. It was many years ago that I had the privilege of escorting him from Bangalore airport to Prashant Nilayam when he was delivering the convocation address. As a young lawyer sitting alone in the car with a great doyen like Nani Palkhiwala, I had to create some conversation. And it just had it that I started asking Nani Palkhiwala that, Nani, what do you think is the crisis that India faces? You know what he said? He said, India faces no crisis, my young man. India has no money crisis. We have so much money that despite so much pilferage, we are still talking of a growth. There is no food crisis in this country. There is so much food that we can feed the whole world. There is no water crisis because we have so much water that we can quench the thirst of the entire mankind. But the real crisis, my young man, is that India faces is character crisis. People don't keep their word. Lawyers, doctors, politicians, officers, even parents don't keep their word. There is no unity of thought, word, and deed. The mother tells the daughter, don't fight with your brother, but she herself fights with her own sister. The father tells the son, don't smoke, don't drink, but he himself smokes and drinks. This is the kind of society, unfortunately, which has come. And therefore, we need young men and women who, through their own examples, through their own confidence, through their own experience, can lead the world. The leader of tomorrow, as envisaged by Bhagwan Shri Sathya Sai Baba, is a man or woman who keeps his thought, word, and deed one, who inspires other people to do the same. It is only through self-experience and mastering yourself that a true leader is born. A true leader who practices what he preaches is very, very important in today's society. And the reason why the Sri Sathya Sai Seva organizations would run a leadership course like this is exactly this. You, brothers and sisters, have been destined, have been blessed by Bhagwan to transform yourselves first, to lead your own self on the path of strong character, and then inspire others to follow you. This is exactly what Bhagwan showed in his own leadership skill. Bhagwan came on this earth as a great master. He practiced and preached everything that he said. Bhagwan used to always say, my word is like a strong character. What I speak, I do. And this is what he showed in all his sojourn on earth as the avatar of the age. We just need to follow him. Be, do, and then tell. Reverse the process of today. People only speak. People have knowledge, but no practice. This is the course where we want to rear up young men and women who practice what they preach, where knowledge is not only knowledge, but knowledge is skilled. The skill is balanced. The balance brings a great insight and builds a character in a person of strong, impressive nature, where he inspires everyone around himself. This is not about leading people just simplicity. This is about leading people by example. And that is the need of the hour today. And therefore, I pray to Bhagwan, and I take this opportunity to touch his lotus feet and sincerely pray to him to bless each and every student of this new batch with this strong character, that he or she stands resplendent with the aura of divinity, of character, the aura of great personal experience, and the aura of leadership, which is most very important as far as we are concerned. With these few words, I once again wish all of you and greet you great success during this course. May you learn, may you practice, may you experience, and may you imbibe. And then maybe may you lead the world by great example. God bless all of you. Jai Sai Ram.
Sai Ram Nimish sir, thank you so much once again from all of us for your speech. Bhagwan always distributed and gave prasadam on special occasions and days. So today is no different. On this special day today, with the grace of our Lord, we have been gifted with the prasadam of having Sri V. Srinivas IAS for this inaugural ceremony to deliver the inaugural address. Sri V. Srinivas is the Additional Secretary to the Government of India, Ministry of Personnel, PG and Pensions, and Director General, National Centre for Good Governance, Government of India, New Delhi. Sri V. Srinivas is an engineering postgraduate with 32 years of administrative experience in IAS for the Government of India, IME, Director General, Chair in Apex Scale, and has held various positions in the Government of Rajasthan as Chairman and Secretary. Srinivas sir was the Deputy Director, Administration for AIMS, Joint Secretary to the Government of India, Ministry of Textiles and Ministry of Culture. He has also served as an advisor to the Executive Director, IMF, Washington, D.C., USA. Sri Srinivas was also the Private Secretary to the Finance Minister and External Affairs Minister, Government of India. Some of Srinivas sir's publications include India's relation with the International Monetary Fund 1991-2016, 25 years in perspective. And the second one includes Towards a New India, Governance Transformed 2014-2019. Sri V. Srinivas has also had more than 45 awards, both international and national, to his credit. Sir is also a badminton champion at the state and the national level and has served as the captain for the teams that he has played. Truly, leadership personified through Sri V. Srinivas Sir. Sir, we are truly honored to have you with us today at this inaugural ceremony of the second batch of the Sri Sathya Sai National Leadership Program for Self-Transformation. Sir, on behalf of all of us, I would like to invite you to deliver the inaugural address. Sri V. Srinivas IAS. Jai Sai Ram.
Om Sri Sai Ram, Sri Nimish Pandyaji, Dr. Gopi Krishna, State President Sri Manoj Madhavanji, Academic Board members Sri Dr. Sai Prasanna and Sri Krishna Kumarji. I seek the divine blessings of Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Baba as I deliver this inaugural address today. I would like to thank the Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Seva Organizations India for inviting me to give a lecture at the Sri Sathya Sai National Leadership Program for Self-Transformation of Youth. In particular, I would like to thank Sri Nimish Pandyaji and Dr. Gopi Krishna for this opportunity on this auspicious occasion. The subject I wish to speak to you today is transformative leadership, and the objective is to inspire all participants to transform themselves as better individuals in the service of the nation in these challenging pandemic times. Spiritualism for individual transformation and character building is required. I would also like to place my talk in a modern organizational context where you need to plan both for cooperation and conflict, which are inevitable. Can we use conflicts constructively to promote integration as opposed to domination and compromise? There is a need to reject the process of giving orders which may not be obeyed. The law of the situation is important when orders are depersonalized. A leader has to bring in both functional and integrative unity by constructive use of differences and conflicts in organizations. To make a group cohesive, the need is to power with and not power over. I would also like to pitch this talk towards modernity, a life in a digital age where the world is a global village. I will refer to the institutional strengthening measures and the need for individual-specific focus. There are three components of the 9 months National Leadership Program. The first is to build individual character, which is best characterized by 2 shlokas from the Niti Shastra. Krishito nasti durbhiksham, japato nasti patakam, maunena kalaho nasti, nasti jagarato bhayam. There is no fear of any adversity in case one is working hard, one is in prayer, one is silent, and one is not afraid in case you adopt adequate cautiousness. The second shloka that I wish to give you is Sakatam Panchahasteshu, Dasahasteshu Vajinam, Gajam Hasta Sahasreshu, Dushtam Durena Varjayet. Please stay away from evil. You stay 5 feet away from a ratha, 10 feet away from a horse, 100 feet away from an elephant, and far many more feet away from an evil person. Ethics and values are foundational values and should be adhered to all your life. As regards national character, let me cite a dialogue that I had with one of my senior colleagues, Dr. Dubur Subbarao. I asked him, how does 21st century governance differ from 20th century governance? And he said, there is really no difference. Commitment to the larger public good against all odds remains the overarching motto of life. India's constitutional values are deeply rooted in high moral tones with a universal dimension. Moral principles have to be lived in life. They have to be lived throughout if the Constitution of India is to succeed. How do you transform yourself? You respect parents, You love family and you develop strong family bonds. Try to recite the Gayatri Mantra 10 times a day. Chanting gives tremendous inner strength and peace of mind. You live mindful and aware on the righteous path, a path that has tremendous transformative power, and listen to your subconscious self. You focus on a holistic approach, a sound body, sound mind, meditation, and yoga, all of which help immensely. You acquire the capacity to work with teams, take care of the needs of all workers, and complete dedication to well-being of the team. Let me share my personal experience with each one of you. My own childhood was in the rural areas of Andhra Pradesh. My father was an entomologist who worked in most remote parts of the state, and my mother is an advocate. The first 12 years of my life were spent in the villages of Dumugudem, Bhadrachalam, and Araku Valley. I went to a panchayat school in Bhadrachalam. I studied under the kerosene lamps and occasionally under Petromax lights, as there was no electricity in many of the tribal villages. The mighty Godavari flooded often, and I became a chronic malaria patient, which kept recurring annually for nearly 2 decades. I actually got to see a lot of wildlife in Araku Valley, and I have very fond memories of the journeys from Anantagiri to Araku Valley. My father's job as a chief entomologist gave me the opportunity to visit a number of primary health centers and community health centers, and I got familiar with India's healthcare systems. In 1977, my father was posted to Hyderabad from Araku Valley, and I became a specialized talent, a bright young badminton talent under the Catch Them Young program of the Andhra Pradesh government. I was selected to represent Andhra Pradesh badminton from 1980 to 1987, the All India Central Schools from 1981 to 83, the Osmania University from 1983 to 1989. Badminton took me to every part of India well before I joined the Indian Administrative Service. There is much to learn from competitive sport. An early to bed, early to rise lifestyle, competing fairly and honestly, and taking defeat with a spirit of sportsmanship. Pursuit of excellence for the national cause was a constant theme at our house. Nothing comes easy in life. Hours and hours of honest work are required to sustain India's democracy. There are simply no shortcuts to success. By 1989, I did my MTech in chemical engineering from College of Technology, Osmania University. I was also a junior national badminton champion of 1984 and an All India University's badminton champion in 1988. With these credentials, I was selected to the Indian Administrative Service in 1989 and was assigned the Rajasthan cadre and joined as an IAS probationer at Nagaur. And life in the Thar Desert beckoned me for the next decade. Rural Rajasthan fascinated me. My motto as I joined the Indian Administrative Service was, I am ethical, I am accountable, I am the IAS. My father's first advice as I joined government was, never fudge a TA bill, never fudge a logbook. Thus begins a journey of honesty in government. In Rajasthan, I had to look up where Nagaur was on a map. It was connected by one train, which reached at 1 a.m. in the morning and left at 5:30 a.m. from the same place. I ate bajra ki roti along with gur, lived in a district headquarters which did not have electricity for 3 days in a week. It also had brackish water and a lot of fluorosis cases. I got to work with the poorest of poor in the desert villages of Rajasthan. The IAS, I noticed, always commanded considerable respect and trust from the people of India. When I look back on this journey of almost 3.5 decades, what I can say is that the Indian Administrative Service has exposed me to rural India as also urban India, like no other service does. I noticed that the IAS competency remains anchored in integrity, building credibility and trust in the institution of civil service. These are foundational and non-negotiable values. As I heard Sri Nimish Pandyaji mention about the character crisis, I would like to address this. Leadership and faith in fairness and impartiality simply cannot be outsourced. You can hire skills, but these traits on ethics and values cannot be outsourced. There were certain areas of governance I was particularly good with. I was fascinated by land reforms, and improving justice delivery systems. In my tenures as the subdivisional officer, as district collector, and then subsequently as chairman board of revenue, I've made it a point to ensure to reach out to every litigant possible and to try and simplify his journey through revenue courts. I was fascinated by the work that was done by Acharya Vinoba Bhave, who walked several hundreds of kilometers for the Bhudan movement and set up the Gramdan villages of Rajasthan. I noticed and learned that good governance requires intense commitment, high levels of resilience to fight for the right cause, and abiding positive energy and enthusiasm. It also requires a capacity to work with large teams and leadership skills to steer institutions on the path of excellence. Leadership is also all about managing power in public good or public interest. It's about using power with others and not always over others. A leader has to prove by working with teams, managed by objectives, and through control over the situation. Charisma and hierarchy, which are the traditional basis of leadership, are not as maintainable today, and what matters is merit and expertise. Leading teams and institutions through new challenges and conflicts represents the benchmark for new standards of leadership. Determined and disciplined implementation of government policy, constant supervision, and honest work can benefit millions of India's population. I have witnessed India's institutions rising and falling with individuals. Over the next 9 months, I noticed that many areas of self-improvement are covered in your program. There are subjects of self-awareness, essentials of communication, goal setting, unleashing creativity, project management, introduction to Indian culture and spirituality, strategies for achievement in life, managing relationships, building trust and interpersonal skills, self-regulation and sustained hard work, enhancement of skills, stress management, change management, success planning, self-discovery tools, and lastly, how to be successful everywhere, every time. And each of these characters will be significantly enhancing your individual personalities. It's a digital age with Aadhaar numbers, technology platforms, and online services. The digital age requires many new skills to be acquired by individuals, handling big data, complexities in decision making, and comprehensive analytical skills. Yet, the focus on individual reforms is very important. As I have mentioned, as I served in the All India Institute of Medical Sciences from 2014 to 17, I recognized how important it was to simplify and monitor a patient's journey at a hospital. This compelled me to introduce what was called an online registration system, or the Digital AIMS project, which has been transformed on a national level, benefiting more than 31 lakh patients across India with online patient appointments. It has not only eased patient times, but also eased doctor times in terms of getting appointments, in terms of ensuring digital patient records, and also unique health identification numbers. I took the opportunity to follow up on a litigant's journey from my early years in service. I spent the first few months of my service in a small village called Sukhwasi in Nagaur district, a village that was visited by Acharya Vinoba Bhave as part of his Bhudan movement to understand how Bhudan has transformed the lives of people. And I found that in such villages, there was hardly any litigation. However, in the other villages, which were manifest by huge amounts of court cases, I tried to ease a litigant's journey in revenue courts by pursuing what was called a digital Rajaswa Mandal project, bringing in tremendous amount of information and transparency to court processes, and also ensuring that the justice delivery systems are delivered and are made functional across over 1,500 revenue courts well within the prescribed norms. And nothing can succeed unless litigants' journeys in courts are simplified in a democracy. A complainant's journey in grievance redressal. Today, I follow up more than 30 lakh grievances on an annual basis. In a period of the pandemic, we followed up nearly 1.7 lakh grievances and tried to ensure delivery was provided to them within 3 days' time. And what I realized throughout these three big personal experiences was reach out to people. The AIMS experience of reaching out to people, touching lives, it's important to reach out to people in distress. The experience of touching hundreds of citizens who filed grievances in a pandemic pertaining to evacuation, medicines, job losses, wage cuts, essential commodities, etc., has been quite transformational personally for me. And I noticed how empowering it can be when an individual's grievance is redressed on time. We also need to focus on creating a modern nation. India is one of the greatest civilizations in the world, a beacon of democracy where nation building is a bounded duty. We need to digitalize our institutions. As I mentioned, digital AIMS, digital Rajasthan Mandal, and in more recent times, a digital central secretariat using e-office. Never lose focus on cultural and civilizational ties. The Ramayana epic, I noticed, was extremely popular in Cambodia. India's Buddhist culture is popular in Vietnam and Japan. The festivals of India abroad, which I conducted as Joint Secretary Culture, right, were very popular in South Africa and Peru, bringing people together, exchanging ideas, exchanging common knowledge, and ensuring that unity of the individual in a global world. We also need to improve institutional cohesion by constant interactions and getting to know people. Studies and publications are important. What you have learned has to be documented. And I made this as a pursuit by writing 2 books. It is also important to ensure assessments are taken up on time so that you understand how services are being delivered. The third subject that I wish to speak on is also the focus on transforming self. As I said, learn the spirit of giving. This entire program is about learning the self of giving. There is tremendous power in giving. When you reach out to the poorest of the poor, to the downtrodden, to the weak, there is tremendous spiritual and moral strength that an individual acquires. There is tremendous resilience that is required for bringing change. And this brings forth creativity. Change is not easy to be brought about in large institutions. It can only be brought about when there is tremendous commitment, as also resilience to take people along. The capacity to address conflict and stress management. When you try to bring about change, there will always be conflict. There will be people who will oppose. There will be people who will say, okay, it has survived in the past. It will survive in the future also. And it is tremendous amount of stress as you create new institutions to build new systems of governance to ensure that more and more people are brought under the purview of a beneficial as also improved systems of governance. We need to enhance communication skills. I noticed particularly that negotiations and interpersonal skills are extremely important for individuals, and individual transformation can happen when negotiation skills and interpersonal relations are placed on a sound footing. We also need to learn how to handle complex projects. Data management and decision making are no longer as simple as they were. There is big data that is available that has to be examined. Artificial intelligence has to be used to understand and bring new tools of governance. As the old saying goes, in God we trust, but everybody else brings data to the table. So decisions have to be made using big data. As I said, my own journey of 32 years in the IAS started from a panchayat school in Bhadrachalam. It has been a relentless pursuit of excellence through intense pursuit of knowledge, commitment to public service, institution building, nation building through self-discipline and regulation. Let me conclude by saying that today we live in an era of the knowledge economy characterized by knowledge workers and strong service sectors. In big organizations, there are too many top leadership positions. Whether in a public institution or a private institution, a leader cannot command respect without knowledge of that sector. Therefore, only knowledge can make leadership sustainable. Leadership has 3 new solid bases for legitimacy: legality, knowledge, and capacity to work through differences. With these words, let me wish each and every one of the participants a successful training program over the next 9 months and attain the highest potential that each one of you can. Once again, I thank Dr. Gopi Krishna and Sri Nimish Pandyaji for giving me this opportunity to speak on this divine occasion. Om Sri Sai Ram.
Thank you, Srinivas Garu, for those words of wisdom to our participants. Your views to make a group cohesive, especially the core needs to power well and not power over, is superb and brings in a lot of inclusiveness. Reaffirming the thoughts to follow the fundamental foundation values for life is very encouraging to all of us. You so beautifully brought out our motto of the organization, transforming self to transforming the world. It starts with respect to parents, bringing in spiritual elevation by chanting Gayatri Mantra. You said about following the righteous path in life, focusing on the mind, body, and soul to live a life of perfection. The aspect of bringing in togetherness in a team in times of joy and difficulties is a wonderful learning to all of us. Your personal journey and your motto, I am ethical, I am accountable, I am the IAS, is the right start for a good career, is a great direction to all our participants. Your personal experiences have added value to your talk, which showcases experiential learning. Your thoughts on how to focus on transforming self is commendable and noteworthy. Thank you is too small a word. We extend our loving gratitude to you and Swami for bringing you on board this inaugural session. Stay blessed, sir. We'll meet once again. We now move on with the proceedings, and I request Sister Archana to take over from here. Sister Archana.
Sai Ram. I'm Sai Archana from Andhra Pradesh, alumna of last batch leadership program and assistant professor in physics. On this auspicious day, as we launch the second batch of Sri Sathya Sai National Leadership Program for Self-Transformation, on behalf of all of us who are present in this program and who are not, I take this opportunity to humbly pray to our beloved mother, Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Baba, to bless us with his divine discourse. Jai Sai Ram.
మొదలు చెప్పినట్టుగా అన్నింటికి మూల కారణము క్యారెక్టర్.
As Bhagavan said at the beginning, character is main thing, most important.
శీలము, మన గుణము, మన ప్రవర్తన, మన నడత చక్కగా ఉంటుంటే మనకంటే మించిన వారి చరిత్రను మరొకరు.
When once our character, our behavior, our conduct are perfect, none can excel you.
మీరందరూ కూడా ఒక 10 మంది ఒక గ్రామానికి సేవకు వెళ్తారు.
10 of you go to a village for
service. ఆ విలేజ్ లో ప్రవేశించేటప్పుడు మీరు ఎట్లా ఉండాలి?
How should you conduct yourself there in a village? You should be very silent.
చాలా ప్రశాంతంగా ఉండాలి.
You should maintain peace there.
చిరునవ్వుతో ఉండాలి.
You should be smiling. You can smile, but you should not laugh.
ఊరికే బయట వారికంతా అశాంతించినట్టుగా గట్టిగా మాట్లాడుకుంటూ పోకూడదు.
You should not talk loudly, disturbing the environment.
ఎవరు ఈ రౌడీ గ్యాంగ్ వస్తున్నది మా గ్రామానికి అని గ్రామస్తులు కూడా చాలా భయపడిపోతారు.
The locals will think the rowdy gang is there in their village. They will be fear stricken.
కనుక మనం అట్లాంటి చెడ్డ పేరు మనకు గురి కాకూడదు.
We should not get a bad name.
పూర్తిగా వెళ్ళాలి.
We should go
వినయంగా పోవాలి.
Go with humility. Go with all humility.
ఏ నవ్వులు కానీ ఏ చూపులు కానీ అపవిత్రంగా మనం ప్రవేశపెట్టము.
You should not talk loudly and you should never have bad looks.
పనిలో ప్రవేశించండి.
Start working there.
పనిలో ప్రవేశిస్తే మాటకి ఏమాత్రం అవకాశం ఉండదు.
When once you start working, you don't need to speak.
మాట్లాడేటువంటి వాడు పని చేయడు.
The one who talks will not work.
పని చేసేవాడు మాట్లాడు.
The one who works will not talk.
ఈ సత్యాన్ని మీరు జ్ఞాపకం తెచ్చుకుంటూ ఉండండి.
Remind this truth.
నిజంగా పని చేసేవాడు మాట్లాడుకో.
The true worker will not
మాట్లాడితే పని చేయలేడు.
Because if he talks, he can't work.
కనుక ఈనాడు మనము ఏ విధంగా నడుచుకోవాలనేటువంటిది జీవితంలో చాలా క్రొత్తగా మనము నూతనమైనటువంటి యొక్క చాప్టర్గా తీసుకోవాలి.
So we should start a new chapter and learn how to live hereafter.
కనుక మీరు ఏ విధమైన దీంట్లో కూడా సందేహపడనక్కర్లేదు.
Never doubt in any
దైవ విశ్వాసాన్ని పెంచుకోండి.
Develop faith in God.
సేవను మీరు అభివృద్ధి పరచుకోండి.
Develop, grow in service.
సేవ ద్వారానే మీ జీవితం అనేది సార్థకమవుతుంది.
Through service you can redeem your life.
ఈ యొక్క మాటలను పవిత్రమైన సూత్రములుగా మీరు భావించుకోవాలి.
Consider these words, Bhagwan's message as a
ఇంకా
sacred
10 మంది
message.
మీరు పెంచాలి.
You should grow more and more.
ఒక్కొక్క వ్యక్తి ఒక్కొక్క 100 మందిని పెంచుకుంటుంటే దేశమంతా ఎంత బాగుపడుతుంది.
Every person should spread and share 100 each.
కనుక ప్రతి ఒక్కరికి కూడా ప్లస్ 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 చేస్తూ
Like this you can go on adding.
అప్పుడే జగత్తంతా ఏకమైపోతుంది.
Then the whole world will be one.
అప్పుడే సర్వము ఏకాత్మ భావం కుదిరిపోతుంది.
Then you will have this principle of unity, oneness.
మీరు ఈ 4 దినములకు ఎంతో మంచిగా ప్రవర్తించారు, మంచి బిహేవియర్గా ఉన్నారు, మంచి మేనర్స్ కూడా సంపాదించుకోవాలి. కానీ కొన్ని దాంట్లో ఇమోషనల్ ఎక్సైట్మెంట్ అంతా కూడా ఉండాలి. అది కొంచెం చల్లార్చుకోవాలి.
You have behaved in an excellent way, with good habits, with good conduct and behavior all these 4 days. Because of agitation, because of emotion, out at times there were certain disturbances.
కంట్రోల్ చేసుకుంటే మీరు ఎంతైనా ఆదర్శవంతమైనటువంటి జీవులుగా ఉంటారు.
If you control your emotion, you can be ideals.
మాటలు తగ్గించుకోండి.
Reduce your thought.
కొంతవరకు సత్యాన్ని గుర్తించండి.
Know the truth.
పవిత్రతను పెంచుకోండి.
Grow in sacredness.
జీవితాన్ని ఆనందంగా జీవించండి.
Make your life blissful.
హ్యాపీ హ్యాపీ. ఏది హ్యాపీ?
We say happiness. What is that happiness?
జీవితంలో ఏది హ్యాపీ లేదు.
Nothing is happiness.
అంత అప్పటికప్పటికి వస్తుంది, అప్పటికప్పటికి పోతుంది. అంత పాసింగ్.
Things come then and there itself and they pass on.
కానీ పర్మనెంట్ అనేటువంటి హ్యాపీ ఒక దైవత్వంతో మాత్రమే ఉండాలి.
The permanent happiness is with God only.
ఇది హార్ట్ టు హార్ట్, లవ్ టు లవ్.
Is the connection heart to heart, love to love.
ఇదే మీరు పెంచుకోవాలి.
This you should develop.
ఇది మీ యొక్క నిజమైనటువంటి యొక్క భక్తి ప్రపత్తులకు సరైన నిదర్శనం.
This is the true proof of your devotion and sincerity.
స్వామి యొక్క ఆశీర్వాదము అమితంగా ఉంటున్నాయి. మీరు సుఖంగా, శాంతిగా, ఆనందంగా భక్తి ప్రపత్తులతో జీవించి దేశానికి సరైనటువంటి యొక్క సేవలు చేయాలని నేను ఆశీర్వదిస్తూ నా ప్రసంగాన్ని
Om Shri Sai Ram. I'm Shifali Mahajan from Himachal Pradesh and alumna of the last batch of leadership program. Every beginning comes to an end. So does this program. But we all have a long journey together to travel. We are sure to bond and bind ourselves in love and compassion with the blessings of the divine. Moving forward, I request Dr. Gopi Krishna Petala, our convener and academic board member of the National Leadership Program for Self-Transformation, to propose the vote of thanks. Dr. Gopi Krishna Petala.
Thank you, Shifali. You mentioned that we have a long journey to make. There's a beginning and there's an end. As we tread along this path of journey, as we started this journey today from the Terminal 1, I offer my gratitude to Bhagwan first for making this possible and for all the participants to be a part of this national level program. Swami, on behalf of all the participants who are on this program today and all those who are watching this program live, I extend our Sashtanga Pranams to you for making this possible for us. I also thank the chairman of the academic board and the All India president of Sri Sathya Sai Seva organization and his national team for making this possible to us and supporting in moving forward. The academic board has been a great pillar of strength, giving us advice on a one-to-one basis to the faculty members also as to how to deal with subjects. Thank you, academic board, the faculty members, the state presidents and the vice president and all the national coordinators and the national team members for your constant, unstinted support and cooperation in this program. I will be failing in my duty if I don't thank the Sri Sathya Sai Central Trust and the affiliated institutions, the Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning, the Sri Sathya Sai Official, the Sathya Sai Center for Human Values, for rendering the much needed support in terms of faculty. The IT team of the Sathya Sai organization has always been a great blessing to me and the program for providing the necessary support. This program would not have been possible but for the able and support that the organizing team gives day in and day out. Lastly, the alumni who have been a part of this team and all the participants and their parents for letting the children be a part of this 9-month-long journey. We thank you once again, all of you, with all our hearts. Jai Sai Ram.
ॐ जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी सत्य साई हरे भक्त जना संरक्षक भक्त जना संरक्षक पति महेश्वरा ॐ जय जगदीश हरे शशिवदना श्रीकरा सर्वा प्राणपते स्वामी सर्वा प्राणपते आश्रित कल्पलतिका आश्रित कल्पलतिका आपदान्धवा ॐ जय जगदीश हरे मातपिता गुरुदैवमु मरियन्तयु नीवे स्वामी मरियन्तयु नीवे नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथ नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथ नागेन्द्र शयना ॐ जय जगदीश हरे ओंकार रूप ओजस्वी हो साई महादेवा सत्य साई महादेवा मंगल आरती अंधुको मंगल आरती अंधुको मंगल गिरिधारी ओम जय जगदीश हरे नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा शांति 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 समस्त लोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्त लोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्त लोकाः शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय।
ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्।